Good day everybody, welcome to the Garmin Fenix 7 Pro tutorial series. In this video I will assume you know the basic functionality of the watch and know how to access all the relevant menus. If you are unfamiliar with the watch controls, please go to the overview video first. You can either click on the card at the top right or follow the link in the description below. Now on to the topic at hand. Today we're going to change the settings for running activities. To do that you need to start and open the activity menu by pressing the start button. And then we can scroll down to the activity we want to edit. Now, while you are here, you can just hold and press and hold menu button and you will go into the settings for this activity. Now, in another video, I've gone through all of these 4 or 5 settings. I will link the card on the top. Today, we are just going to be interested in the settings for that activity itself. So we select that by pressing start, and we've got a bunch of settings we can change. We will go through them one by one right now. First one is we've got the data screens. So to change the data screens, we're going to press the start button. Here we've got our data screens. So our first screen is our map screen, and then we've got a data screen. Then we can add a new one, or we can be done with our editing. To edit the data screen, you press the start button on the top right. Now, first we can change the layout, then the data fields, and then we can reorder it. Let's go through all of them. So first we're going to change the layout. The layout just means how the data is represented on your watch screen. You will see here on the left hand side there's a bar and a marker of where on the bar we are. Further down the bar you go, the more data fields you can add to the screen. So if we go to the top, for instance, you will see there's just this one data field. At this stage is a distance. If we go down once, we've got 2 data fields with this little divider, this little gray line between them. Next option is 3 data fields, one on top of the other one. The next is 3 data fields without a divider and without the name of what the fields mean. Then we're going down to 3 again with a larger one on the top, 2 smaller ones at the bottom. Next one will be 4 data fields on top of each other, and then there will be some different configurations on this 4 theme. And as you go down, the data fields become more and more until at the end we've got 6 data fields here at the end. That's the most you can have on these normal watch faces. So let us edit one with 4 data fields. For instance, some of that one. Okay, once you have chosen your layout, you press the start key. Now we can actually edit the data fields on that screen. So go to data fields, then press start. Now the data field you are currently editing is the one that is flashing. So you can see we are at the moment we're going to change the top one, the larger one. If you want to select another one to edit, you just press the up and down buttons and it will go to the other fields to edit. If you're on the field you want to edit, you're going to press the start button and you will present it with a category menu. So this is just a bunch of categories with data fields inside them. So we've got some different categories, timer fields, I think timer fields is the first one, distance fields, pace fields, speed fields. All these fields I will go through on a different video because that will take a long time. So on the top, let's say we want to have our timer on the top, so we're going to press start to go into that category. Then there's some extra options, the actual data field you want to put there. So either just a normal timer, or your lap time, or your last lap time, or your average lap time, your lapse time. There's a couple of stuff that you can change here. So let's just put our normal timer on the top field. Then we go down. We're going to change that one to a distance field. So we want to see how far we run, our distance. The next one, let's make it a pace field to see our current pace. We don't want the chart, we just want our normal pace, the pace at this moment. And then the last one, let's make, well, it is a heart rate field. And we're going to make one with a gauge, so we've got the little colors here at the bottom telling us exactly which zone heart rate we are in at the moment. When we are done, we just press the back key and then we press back again, and that is our data field. So if we go out and we actually start this run, you will see this is a data field we just created now. Let's see if we want to have that data field show up first. We can edit it. Let's just go out there, go into the menus, data screens. Let's reorder this. We want this screen we just edited, we want it above the map screen. So we just press start to edit it. We go to reorder, press start to select that, and now you see our map field is on top, and then the one we've just edited now is here at the bottom. So we just move it up so it's above the map screen. Press start to drop it there. Now you can have multiple workout and data screens. So if you want to add another one, just go to add new, press start, and here you've got a couple of options. There is some pre-made screens here that you can choose from. You will not be able to edit them, but let's say we want to see a heart rate gauge screen. Now we're just going to say where he needs to drop that screen onto. There's the heart rate gauge screen, there's our map screen, there's the one that we've actually edited. So let's say we want it between the one we edited and the map screen. We say yes, and then we've got our heart rate screen. These pre-made screens cannot be edited. Only thing you can do is reorder them and remove them. Let's see what happens if we add a custom data screen. When we start that, we choose our layout, again as we did when we edited the screen. So it's exactly the same, the amount of fields changes. Let's just make 2 fields. Then you press start, and it's going to ask you, what do you want in field 1? You're going to go through the different categories. We want that to be a stamina field, and we want to see our stamina potential there. In the second field, we want to see our running dynamics. We want to be able to see what our average vertical oscillation will be. Select that. Now we're going to put the data screen and put it where we want it. Let's put that also above the map screen. Let's have our map screen last. And there we've got our new screen. So our order is the one we edited first. Then the second one is our heart rate gauge screen, which is a bit silly because we've got it on our first screen here at the bottom. But anyways, then we've got the one, we've got the stamina and the vertical oscillation. And then we've got our map screen. Okay, you can order these any way you want by using the reorder key. You can see here on the left, you can see how many screens we have at the moment. The small circles is the screens we have, the amount of screens we have. The larger circle is the screen that we are on actually at the moment, able to edit. Then we go down at the top bottom, there is a plus where we add the new. And when we are done with this data screens for this specific activity, just go to the bottom and press start, and then you're done. The next setting we can change on our for our activity is the alerts that comes up during the activity. Press start to enter there. Now you can add a new alert, or you can see all the alerts that you've currently got on that activity. So let us add a new alert. I just quickly want to explain what alerts are. So Garmin themselves officially describes alerts in the following manner. You can set alerts for each activity, which can help you to train towards specific goals, to increase your awareness of your environment, and to navigate to your destination. Some alerts are available only for specific activities. There are 3 types of alerts: event alerts, range alerts, and recurring alerts. Event alert is an event alert notifies you one time. The event is a specific value. For example, you can set a watch to alert you when you burn a specific number of calories. Range alert. A range alert notifies you each time the watch is above or below a specific range of values. For example, you can set the watch to alert you when your heart rate is below 60 beats per minute and over 210 beats per minute. Recurring alert is an alert that notifies you each time the watch records a specific value or interval. For example, you can set the watch to alert you every 5 minutes. So as you can see, I've got that alert here. My watch will tell me that I've completed 5 minutes, and it will tell me that every 5 minutes. Let's add a new alert. We're going to go through the preset alerts first, and then we will do a custom alert. So the heart rate alert, if we select that, what it does is it will warn you when you are outside a range that you have set for this watch. You can either have it high or low or both of them. So firstly, as you can see on the top there, we're going to set our high alert. So we want to be alerted if we go above our maximum, for instance. These zones that is represented here has already been set by your watch. It's a different setting where you set up your zones, your heart rate zones. So that's where it gets this data from. You can also put a custom heart rate in here, but let's say our maximum should be our top. Our low alert must be zone 3, so we want to run around in zone 4. So we select that. That means this alert is now set, the heart rate alert is set, so the watch will give you an audible alarm and it will vibrate as soon as you go below 142, and will do the same when you go over 104. So then you know you must speed up or slow down. Let's remove that alert. Next one is our run walk. This will alert you if you want to, during your running, you want to walk every few minutes or every few, I think it's just minutes. So we're going to set our run time now. So we want to run for 5 minutes, for instance. Press start, set the seconds, yes, that's fine. And our walk time, we just want to walk for 1 minute 30 seconds, for instance. At the moment it's 1 minute, and we go up for 30 seconds. Press start. Now during our activity, we will run for 5 minutes, then the watch will alert us and tell us it's now time to walk. After 1 minute 30 seconds, it will go back to running again, and that will alternate the whole time. But let us remove that alert. Next one we can set is our pace. Pace is the same as heart rate, so you've also got a range that you can work on, or you can just stay below a certain value or above a certain value. So for instance, let's say we want to stay within a range. So our fast alert, we're going to switch that on, and we want to say we don't want to run faster than 5 minutes per kilometer. So 5 minutes on the dot. But we do not want to go slower than 7 minutes per kilometer. Now, while we are running, doing our activity, the watch will warn us whenever we're going slower or faster than this range that we have set there. Next alert we've got is our distance. So the watch will alert us every time we go this distance, and it will be a recurring alert. So every time you go past 4 kilometers, it will give you an alert. When you get to 8, it will give you an alert. Then 12, then 16, and 20, and so on. So every 4 minutes, you will get an alert on your watch. So you just set that, and that is all, and there it is set. Next one is the power. Power work exactly the same as pace. You can also set a high alert and a low alert. You don't want to go over a certain amount of running power, don't want to go below a certain amount of running power, or you want to stay within a zone. Cadence, exactly the same again. We can set a range or a high or a low. So you just set the cadence you want to run at. Let's say you want to run at 180. You don't want to go below 170, but you don't want to go above 190. you can set a range for yourself between 170 and 190, and the watch will alert you whenever you are over or above that limit. Calories, the watch will tell you exactly when you reach a certain amount of calories during your activity, so that you can either know that you've reached the goal. If you set your goal for yourself saying, today I'm going to run until I've done 150 calories, then you can set the watch. You don't have to watch it the whole time. You don't have to set a data screen with calories on it to see that. The watch will tell you when you have reached that amount of calories. Next one is elevation. Again, it's a range, so it will give you an alert if you go too high or too low. You can set either one. You can either stay below a certain altitude, or you have to stay above a certain altitude. It's probably a bit more important when you go hiking or mountaineering or so on. Proximity is that you set a point, so you select proximity, then you're going to set a location that you have previously saved on your watch. You're going to set that location, and then you can tell it how far away you are allowed to be from that marker. So if you set it to 10 meters, as soon as you go past 10 meters at 11 or 12 meters from that point, you will sound an alarm. Let us set a custom alert. So if we go to add new, we can also set a custom alert. Press start on custom alert. This will give you some just some messages with certain criteria. So you can remind yourself to take a drink every couple of minutes or distance. So if you select on drink, you can either say should it be on timer or distance. So you can say, let's say every 30 minutes you should be reminded to take a drink, or every 4 kilometers or whatever. Exactly the same with eating. This turnaround is actually quite useful when you are running in a place that you don't really know, and your watch, for instance, told you that you need to run for something silly like 14 kilometers, and you don't know what a 14-kilometer route will be around you. So what you can do is you can run in a straight line, and then set your watch to tell you to turn around at 7 kilometers, for instance. Then you know you would have run 14 kilometers. This also works for time, so it's either time or distance. Today I want to run for an hour, so I'm going to set the time. I'm going to say we're going to do it on 30 minutes. So I'm going to start at my house. I'm going to run away from my house for 30 minutes. When 30 minutes is up, the watch will give me a notification to say turn around, and I can come back, and I know I would have ran for an hour if I run the same speed there and back. Let's check the other custom. Go home. You can set that also on time or distance. It will just bring up a message that says go home. There's nothing special. There's no home set or anything. It's not a distance from your home. It's just wherever you started, it tells you to go home. Custom is just a message. So if you select that, you can write the message here. So whatever, we're just going to say, we're just going to say hi. If you want to confirm that we've written the whole message we want, we're going to go to the green arrow, press start, and then let's say after 10 minutes, my watch will tell me I have to say hi. So now you can say repeat either on or off. What this changes is that if it's on, every 10 minutes it will tell me to say hi. If it's off, then only the first 10 minutes it will tell me to say hi. It won't tell me again on 20 minutes, for instance. Okay, that is alerts. The next setting we can change on our watch for the activity is power mode. Now this is the battery power mode, not your running power. If you go into that setting, you can see first of all what power mode this activity should be run at in default. Now the normal power mode is the one that you've set your watch on. The power modes are set in a different places. It's set in settings. You can't change it here. So you just choose them here. But that is, I'll cover that when we go through the normal settings. But anyways, your default mode is normal. If you press start, you can choose some other power modes. Here on the left hand side, next to the name of the power mode, will be the amount of hours you will be able to do that activity, in this case the running activity, with our current battery charge. So when we're going to run on the normal settings, the normal power mode settings, we will be able to run for 36 hours before the battery is dead. If we go to the extended program, we'll be able to go for 49. The max battery will allow us to run for 136 hours. The maximum accuracy will bring us down to 22 hours, and jacket mode will bring us up to 38 again. So you can choose either which one. The activity should be run on default. Now you can set the low battery alert as well, so your watch can alert you if your battery is running low, and if you switch that, you're going to choose a time. So if your watch determines that it's only got 30 minutes left on its current charge, it will give you a notification and a warning to say there's only 30 minutes left on this battery charge. So it's the same with any of these times. Auto enable. This enables your watch to automatically change to a different power mode, and it's also a timing thing, so you can tell it that 15 minutes before, you can see there on the top it says time until empty, so 15 minutes before the battery dies, press start, you need to go into extended mode, and then it will do it automatically so that you've got a bit more juice in your battery at the end of your activity. Next setting is our metronome. The metronome helps you if you have some issues with getting the right cadence to run at. So if we select that, you can switch it on or off. Then you can choose the cadence that you want to run at, or I mean, this doesn't need to be used for cadence. It's just a normal metronome. So let's say we're going to keep it on 180 beats per minute. If you press start, you can change that to whatever you want. Then you can tell it to when to beat. Is it on every beat, or every second beat, or every third beat? Let's press start and see what the options are. Every other beat, every third beat, fourth beat. Let's say keep it on fourth beat. Then you tell it what to do on each one of those beats. It must either make just a tone or vibration, or tone and vibration. Let's select that, and then you've got a preview of how that's going to sound and what it's going to look like. Now you can pace yourself on this metronome. If you switch this on, this will start as soon as the activity starts. The next setting we can change is the maps. So if you go into maps, first selection there is configure maps. That is what maps it must use during the activity. So if you select that, you've got your topo active maps, and you've got I've got a ski view map downloaded, but it's not enabled because there's no skiing where I live. In the topo active maps, you will see all the maps that's downloaded. I don't need the Australia New Zealand one, just the Africa one that is downloaded. Then the next selection there is the map theme, so you can set a theme on the map for that specific activity. If you go in there, you can select to just use the theme that you selected for as default on your system. If you don't want to use that theme, you want to use no theme at all, you just select none. If you want to use the marine theme sets the map to display data in marine mode. You can select that there. The high contrast mode sets the map to display data with higher contrast for better visibility in challenging environments. Then dark sets a map to display data with a dark background for better visibility at night. We've got popularity there. It highlights the most popular roads or trails on the map. Resort ski sets the map to display the most relevant ski data. And then aviation sets the map to display data in aviation mode. So you can just play around with this, change it to different settings, and see what the map looks like and what you would prefer then. Okay, using system settings, in the normal settings, which will be on a different video, you can set all your map preferences. Now, if this is on, which it normally is, it will just use the system settings, the default settings for your map preferences. If you switches it off, you will see the next setting is restore theme. But if we switch it off, then during this activity you can customize all these different settings for the maps, like which direction is up, showing your location, showing segments and so on, but it will be discussed during the settings video. So we're just going to leave it on to system. Restore theme, that is just allows you to restore the default map theme settings or themes that have been deleted from the watch. Next up we've got the routing. So you set the activity, sets an activity for routing. The watch calculates routes optimized for the type of activity you are doing. So some examples of stuff you can select here is mountain biking, gravel cycling, running and walking, hiking. So whichever activity you're going to do, you'll select that type of routing. Then we've got popularity routing. This calculates routes based on the most popular runs and rides from Garmin Connect. Then the courses, you can set it to how it should navigate courses using the watch. If you use the follow course option, then the watch will navigate you exactly on the course that you are currently doing. Other option there is use map. Use the use map option to navigate a course using routable maps and recalculate the route if you stray from the course. So if you're going to follow a course that you actually designed yourself, you would rather keep it on follow course. Calculation method, obviously it's going to minimize the distance, either it's going to minimize the time, or it's going to minimize your accent. So you can choose that, whichever is more important to you. Avoidances, what should be avoided? Should it avoid unpaved roads? Should it avoid ferries? Okay, that is routing. Auto lap. If you go into auto lap, what it does is it makes a lap for you by itself without you pressing the lap button. So you can choose different modes. You can either choose auto distance or auto position. Auto distance is it will mark a lap every time you pass a certain distance. So once you select that, then you need to change the distance that it makes a lap for you. So if you would run around the track, for instance, you'll make that on 400 meters. On auto position is that you run a certain course, and when you press a lap button the first time, it will remember where you pressed that lap button, and then the subsequent times it will auto lap there exactly where you pressed the lap button. Then you can choose how the lap alert goes, what it shows when the auto lap comes on. So you can change your fields exactly as you did with changing your data fields on your on the data screens. So you're going to change primary field. It's just going to be 2 fields, so you can check here the preview of what it looks like. Once it did an auto map, the screen will show up for a little while, for a few seconds, and then we'll go back to your normal data screens, and you can choose what happens, what shows here. The top there is obviously the lap number, and then the 2 next fields you can change. The primary field you can change to, let's say, lap pace, and the secondary field you can change to, let's say, more. You can even do some crazy stuff like your heart rate, show your heart rate exactly on that time when you went past that lap. Okay, next up is auto pause. Auto pause is self-explanatory. You can either have it pause the watch automatically when you stopped, or you can choose a custom speed or pace at which it must start pausing. So let's say you were running and 12 minutes per kilometer is very slow, so you can set it that if you're going slower than that, then it will auto pause the map, the activity. This is quite useful if you're running in a city, for instance, and you're going to stop at red lights and stuff like that, waiting for cars. Then you can switch it on so that the map pauses every time. You don't have to press the pause button. ClimbPro, it displays ascent planning and monitoring screens. I'm going to do a different video on this because it is also a little bit complicated. Auto climb. The only thing that auto climb does is that if you have a data screen on your watch on this activity, if you have a data screen on this activity, specifically for climbing. So it shows your incline, it shows your what you know whatever you want to show on inclines. This setting will change your data screen to that screen while you are climbing, and then it will change it back to the normal data screen that you had on. So you can have it on 3 settings. You can either have it off, always on, or when not navigating. Because when you are running with a map and you're going uphill, you don't necessarily want the screen to change from the map to your extension screen, because you want to navigate by the map. So then you will switch it onto that. You will have to choose your running screen. Will be either, you can choose a running screen and a climb screen. So these are the 2 screens it switches over between. So the running screen is just your current screen you're on, and then you'll have to choose your climb screen. So if you select that, then you remember all the screens the data screens we set up, it will show you. The map one will obviously not show you. So you can select then the one that you created specially for your climbing, and it will switch to that one. Okay. Then you can have it inverted colors. So when it switches automatically, it switches the background colors from either black to white or white to black. Here you set the vertical speed. So this should be the climb at which it changes over. So this is 600 meters per hour. You can play around with that to see, maybe that's a little bit too low for you. You maybe want it 800 or 400 or whatever. And mode switch is where it decides how quickly it switches over. So if you're just going up a short hill, you're just going up for 20 seconds or whatever, you don't want it necessarily to switch over. You want it to switch over to the other screen if it's quite a long hill, or maybe you want it to switch over quickly as possible. So here you can set the times. So either it should take slow to switch, and this is also for switching back. It should take a while before switching over, or medium speed or fast speed. I don't know what the seconds are or what the criteria is for these speeds. So that is auto climb. Self-evaluation is just that at the end of your activity, when you stop it, it will ask you how you did. So it will ask you what is your perceived effort, and so you can say perceived effort, I think, is in a range from 0 to 10. And it will ask you how strong you felt during this activity. So I think there's 5 settings. So it's 2 that you didn't feel very strong, then 1 neutral, and then 2 above that said you felt strong, you felt very strong. It's just for yourself. The watch doesn't use that data for anything else. It's just that when this activity then gets saved to Garmin Connect and you open that Garmin Connect activity, you will see there that you felt very strong during this activity, or the perceived effort you had was low or high or whatever. Especially if you open that activity a week or 2 weeks later, you can at least see how you felt during that activity. Okay, then we've got running power. Now the watch can also calculate your running power. What it does, this is obviously on and off. So the watch uses your speed, heart rate, and wind direction, and the ascent or descent and so on to work out a power for you. Now, it gets this data from either the smartwatch, or you do get some dedicated devices that can measure this for you. So this is where the source comes in. So smart mode will be, it detects if there's a device that can measure the power, the running power. If there is one, it will use that data. If not, it will use the watch's data. Or you can choose to always use the accessory or always use the wrist. Should your power rating account for the wind? Yes or no, you can choose. Okay, 3D speed and 3D distance, I will need to go to make a drawing for you to explain that. Just quickly going to try to explain the 3D speed and 3D distance. So if you look at a map like this, and you've got 2 points, and you want to run from this point to that point, then on your map it will show you that is 2 kilometers. But in reality, what you are actually running is you're running up a mountain like this. Now, the course you took up there, or the path you took up there, is taking you up this mountain here. Now, your GPS measures between these 2 points here. So the GPS knows you started there, GPS knows you started there. If we take this down, it takes this distance as 2 kilometers. But you did not actually run 2 kilometers, you ran up. So you need to use Pythagoras to work out what the actual distance was that you covered. It's not this distance here, the actual distance that you covered is this distance here. So that is what 3D distance is, and that is also what is used when you are you have 3D speed set on. Now you can go do the calculations. I'm not going to do any calculations on here, but you will have to have quite a steep gradient, and you'll have to run quite a long while on that steep gradient for the 3D speed and distance to actually be a lot different from then just just this what the map said and this what the GPS said. So there's probably some outlying scenarios where you would want that, and some outlying people who would like to use that. Probably people that does extreme mountain climbing, but for normal people it's not really necessary. If you're just going to go up and down a few hills, it's really not necessary to switch on 3D speed or 3D distance. The next option is the lap key that just switches on the lap key on or off. So if I've got it on and I'm running, I can use the lap key. If I've selected this off, then the lap key will do nothing during my activity. You can set your touch during the activity to either be on the map only, so when you're not on the map screen, the touch screen does not work. It can be off, or it can be always on, or it can be on the system default. Auto scroll, should your watch scroll through the data screens automatically by itself all the time, you can say it off, or you can have it slow, medium, or fast. I normally do not have auto scroll on. Most of the data I'm interested in is on just one screen. There's just some stuff I'll put on another screen. So if I raise my wrist, I want to see the data that I put on. So I normally have this off. Segments is also a little bit tricky. So there's segments that people set up for themselves, or you can set up for yourself, which is parts of a city or parts of a route that is people measure themselves against themselves and against other users. So you've got Garmin segments and you've got Strava segments as well. So this setting will just set those segments. I don't have any segments saved, so I can't show you what it is. I will have a dedicated video on segments. Segment alert will just tell you if you're approaching a segment. So while you're running, and let's say at the next block or next corner there's a segment that starts there, then your watch will notify you there's a segment starting, so then you can maybe decide to push a little bit harder from that part or not. Broadcast heart rate, some gym equipment like treadmills and bicycles and so on, standing bicycles, can accept the heart rate from your device onto them. So then they display the heart rate on the machine itself. This is what the broadcast heart rate button does. It broadcasts your heart rate from your watch to gym equipment. The flashlight, this is a flashlight during the activity. So if we go into it, there's a couple of settings you can change. So a nice feature about this, if you want a little bit more visibility from other people seeing you, so the car doesn't drive over you or bump into you, so on, you can either have it on always, you can have it off always, or a nice feature is to have it on after sunset. So whatever you chose here on your flashlight will only happen after sunset. So let's say sunset is 6 o'clock, you start running 5:45. As soon as it gets 6 o'clock, your flashlight will then turn on according to the settings that you've set. So there's a mode, you can either click blinking, pulse, beacon, blitz. Cadence is quite nice. What cadence does is that when your arm is in the forward position, the the white light is on, and then when it's in the back position, the red light is on. I do not know how good it is. I've never used it, but that is the idea. Then whatever mode you chose up there, you can choose the speed on that. Should it be slow, medium, or fast? And then the color of the flashlight, should it be white or should it be red? Except if you're on cadence, then it's both. Satellites. What satellites gets used? That is obviously during this activity. So you've got a couple of options. First option there is no GPS data should be recorded. Second one is use the default. So whatever your watch default system setting is for GPS, it will use that. Then we've got GPS only. This enables a GPS satellite system. Then we've got all systems. This enables multiple satellite systems. Using multiple satellite systems together offers increased performance in challenging environments and faster position acquisition than using GPS only. However, using multiple systems can reduce battery life more quickly than GPS only. Then we've got all plus multiband. Enables multiple satellite systems on multiple frequency bands. Multiband systems use multiple frequency bands and allow for more consistent track locks, improved positioning, improved multipath errors, and fewer atmospheric errors when using the watch in challenging environments. This obviously also uses the most battery power. Then auto select enables a watch to use SatIQ TM technology to dynamically select the best multiband system based on your environment. The auto select setting offers the best positioning accuracy while still prioritizing battery life. So if you're running in an open field, it will go to GPS only, and if you're in challenging environments like between tall buildings or tall mountains and trees and so on, it might go up to multiband or all systems. Then we've got Auto Track. Auto Track records track points and sensor data less frequently. Enabling the Auto Track feature increases the battery life but decreases the quality of recorded activities. You should use the Auto Track feature for activities that demand longer battery life and for which frequent sensor data updates are less important. This is, if you read a couple of blogs and so on, you will see people do not like this at all. It only gives you very little accuracy and very little data points. And anyways, the watch's batteries are these days so advanced. I can't think of a reason why you use Auto Track. Record temperature. Should the watch record the temperature while you're doing the activity? It uses the temperature sensor inside the watch itself. It's not recorded from GPS data or weather data. Power save timeout. This sets the power save timeout length for how long your watch stay in training mode. For example, when you're waiting for a race to start. So when you let me show you where it is. If I select run this screen, how long it will be in this screen. So if that setting is set to normal, you will stay 5 minutes in this screen before it goes into the low power mode. If you've got it on extended option, it will take 25 minutes before it goes on. So you know you're waiting for the gun to go off and so on. So you select this along and wait for the gun to go off and to press start to start running. And in the different settings that will change how long it waits for you. Let's just go see that. So you've got either normal or extended. Normal is quite enough. I mean, you're not going to switch your watch on 25 minutes before the race starts. There's no reason. Background color is just the background color of the data screens, either black or white. I prefer white. You can see it a lot better. Accent color, that's the color that the activity is on the activity list. So at the moment it's purple. So if I change it to, let's say I change it to something strange like, let's change it to yellow. And I go back out. You will see it is now yellow. It doesn't show up so nicely on the video. It was purple, it's now yellow. Then rename, it's self-explanatory, just rename the activity. I did that. I took one of my runs and I just copied it to make this activity that I can edit for the video. Then I had to rename it to run video, so I know which one it is. Restore defaults, it will just restore all the default settings for this activity. If you've changed a lot of stuff and there's something you don't like but you don't know what you changed, just restore the defaults and start over. Okay, so that is all the activity settings on the watch. Next, we will just quickly go over how to set all of that in Garmin Connect on your phone. To change all the activity settings on Garmin Connect in your phone, you open Garmin Connect and you select your device. I do it by selecting the 3 circle and more button at the bottom right corner. Then I scroll up and you select Garmin device. It will show all your Garmin devices connected to your phone. So you select your Fenix 7 Pro, and then here in the middle about is your activities and apps. So click on that. If it doesn't go the first time, it might still be syncing. Just try again. So here's all the activities and apps that I've got loaded on the watch at the moment. Here at the bottom, we've got our run video, the one we've just been working on. So if I select that, here will be all the settings in exactly the same order as it was on your watch. So you can change them all exactly the same as you can on the watch. It's a lot easier, it's a lot clearer to do it here, and it will sync automatically with the watch and change the settings on the watch as well. Look at data screens, for instance. If I go to data screens, here I can see the data screens very clearly. It's very easy to add a data screen. I can select any one of them. So if I choose the first one, it comes up here and I can select data field 1. And I can change it to whatever I want. Here is those categories we spoke about. Go to compass fields, choose heading. Now that data field has changed to heading. I can also, I think, select, no, you can't select it up there. You can change the amount of fields, and it will nicely show you here on the left hand side what that will look like before you choose it. So that one was now the 4 fields with 3 rows. So if we want to change it to 4 fields quadrant, we just select that and it changes over to that, and it's still got the same data fields selected over here. It's also very easy to add a data screen just with this button here. Here is again all those data screens that we could put on, or we can say we want custom data. Here's our layout, and here we start and just edit all the fields that we want. We've got still all, if you go into map, here's all the map settings that was on the watch itself. Here you can quickly switch on and off things like your segment alert, switch it on or off. Record temperature on or off. If you want to rename the video, select rename, and you can type actually on your keyboard. You don't have to do that stupid scroll thing on the watch. So it's a lot better to change the settings on your phone than on the watch. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching.